Elizabeth and I have been friends since we were in 8th grade. Liz introduced us, and we all got together and had a slumber party, and Elizabeth and I stayed up all night talking, and we've been friends ever since.
Well, the basis of Elizabeth and I's friendship all started from a single paperclip that we both happened to see dangling from the belly of our favorite history teacher in 7th grade.
Elizabeth has always been very friendly, very outgoing. She really didn't know a stranger in high school. She was kind of friends with everybody, regardless of what they were involved in.
Anybody who knows Whitney can tell you how much fun he is. I mean, I can't think of a guy that has so many friends or so many people that want to be friends with him because he's just fun to be around.
Besides Elizabeth's ability to completely crack me up no matter what the situation, whether it's cheering me up or us just sitting in a room full of people, making each other have a laugh attack, I have always loved Elizabeth for being a friend that I can count on no matter what, regardless of the situation. She is someone who will always be there.
He's very tall and he's very goofy. And he really liked basketball, and he really liked drinking. Lots of Swampy Brews. This is not going to make it. Blooper reel.
3, 2, 1. Elizabeth and Whitney. Too formal. 3, 2, 1. Leaky and witty. Forget it, I'm doing it live. Hey everyone, I'm Mary Scott. I'm Elizabeth's former roommate and co-worker at WMBB News 13 in Panama City. And we like to call each other BFs and PC because we spent most of our time together, whether it was at work, home, or just having fun in Panama City. And I got to know Elizabeth very well during that time, and she had a lot of crushes. And a lot of people had crushes on her, but nothing compared to the crush she had on Whitney Ray. Now, Elizabeth didn't actually know Whitney at the time. She only knew of him from TV. He used to come on our competitor, Channel 7, and we would watch him like we do in every newsroom. We would watch the competition, and she would see him, and she would go on and on about how she hoped that one day she could date him. She knew her brothers knew him, but she didn't know if she could actually date them.
When Elizabeth sent me her YouTube of her resume, I invited Whitney to the office and said, "Whitney, check this out, tell me what you think." And he said, "Wow, this really looks great." And I thought he was talking about her performance on camera. I guess he was talking more about Elizabeth.
First time they ever met was actually in Tallahassee at a court hearing for a Martin Lee Anderson trial. She was the young reporter from Panama City, and Whitney and I we were there covering it as part of our Capitol beat.
Well, one day she just so happens to run into him at a shoot. We were having a party that night, and she invited him to come. So when he walks in the door, I am like floored.
She was pretty nervous about the night and how it was going to go. But the second that he got to her apartment and met everyone, I just knew that he was completely her type. He was what she had always described. She wanted her future husband to be tall and manly, and he just had a natural ease about him.
Elizabeth has always been very confident and self-assured, so when she met Whitney and she called me constantly to talk about him and was constantly, when is Whitney going to call? Do you think I should call him? What do you think he means when he says this? So kind of hearing all of that, I think I had a clue pretty early on that Whitney was something special.
First time he even mentioned her, he then continued to mention her for the rest of the night. Talked about her incessantly, nonstop. He made me watch her reporter resume reel.
When I first met Elizabeth was when she and Whitney came to my wedding. She was everything that I thought that she would be, and even more so.
When Elizabeth came into his life, it was funny. He just kind of slowed down, and he really kind of lit up a little bit in a way that I've never seen him before.
And I remember talking to Whitney in many a car ride about how he was smitten with that girl, and I said, she's a good one, so if you want to chase her, you better do it right.
We told Whitney, if you let this one get away, then you've made a huge mistake.
So we were going down the river, and I remember we had just gotten through a big rapid, and we were in the boat, the raft in front of Elizabeth and Whitney, and Elizabeth fell out of the raft into the river, and Whitney immediately jumped in after her, and we were like, what is Whitney doing? Why is he jumping in the river? And so we asked him later, we said, why did you jump in the river after Elizabeth? And he said, I think his words to me were, well, my baby fell in and I didn't want her to go in by herself. And so that just kind of confirmed to me that Elizabeth picked the good one, that Whitney's going to be protective over Elizabeth and take care of her. And that's kind of what marriage is all about, is just not having to go in alone.
When Elizabeth called me and told me that they were engaged, I can't say I was totally surprised, because I think I knew pretty early on that Elizabeth loved Whitney quite a bit and that he was ultimately the right one for her.
Elizabeth and Whitney are going at a wedding.
Yeah. Are you excited about Elizabeth and Whitney getting married? Tell me how it makes you feel.
Happy. He's this tall. And the cake's going to be this tall.
I am so glad that I got to see the beginning stages of your beautiful romance, and I absolutely cannot wait to see what life and your marriage brings you. I love you both so much. Congratulations.
Whitney, Elizabeth, congratulations. I can see that you guys are perfect for each other. You can tell how happy you make one another, and wish you all the best. I know y'all are going to have a lot of great years together.
I am so beyond thrilled and happy and excited for the both of you, and I wish you all the best always, and I love you guys. Congratulations.